I'm Roger Margolis here at the Strata Conference in New York 2018. I'm here with Madhu Kochar, who's the Vice President of Product Development Analytics at IBM. Welcome.
Thank you, Roger.
So you're working in analytics, and yet it seems to be a bigger space than just the analytics, and that data governance, compliance, so forth really matters. So what's driving, do you think, the users today and the data scientists and so forth?
Yeah, no, great question. As we're talking with large enterprises, right? I mean, IBM works with large enterprises, and everybody out there is in process of digital transformation, modernizing their stack, right? Because it has been a very monolithic architecture has been built. We're living in a land of self-service, right? Where business analysts, data scientists are needing the access to the data. So what's happening out there is it's like data scientists, in order for them to build the right models, to infuse the machine learning and to get to the next generation of transformation, they need access to the right data. And it's not just the access to the data, but also make sure there's data quality is there. Data is classified, right, based on their business terms, their taxonomy, and that they can really truly trust this data. Because once you build these models and they go into production, and if it's garbage in, it's going to be garbage out. And so what I'm finding and discovering as we're talking to large clients is that their journey to transformation and modernization is not moving fast enough because they have not done good practices around data curation, around governance. No longer governance is now just a compliance story, right? This is like governance 2.0 type of a story where you need to be able to curate the right data, be able to trust the data, have the quality of the data. So then the business users, the business analysts, and the data scientists can have easy access to that data, trust that data, and be able to, go models. And then that helps clients with their monetization rather quickly and drive future insights. So that's where the whole governance play is playing a key role. It's becoming like a glue, so to speak, in terms of their bedrock systems where data is and driving to the insights.
So how is ML infused to operationalize data curation? It seems like that's actually a clever and a great way to handle what's a tough problem for many organizations.
It is a tough problem. And what I said earlier, the reason enterprises are sort of stuck because it's a manual process, right? Think about it. First figuring out where does all my data reside. Data discovery is difficult, and then in order to classify the data, somebody has to sit there manually, and data stewards, right? They have to go do that job. So this is truly a place where a lot of automation through machine learning can be done. And that is where we in IBM in analytics have been very focused on how easy I can put up machine learning algorithms where I can look at your metadata, I can understand based on your metadata in terms of what classifies. Everybody got business glossary. So we're using a lot of machine learning algorithms to make your data discovery better, data classification better. And I'll share with you an example. I was with a large enterprise recently with a large insurance company. They have hired about 30 data stewards, and it took them more than 6 months for one application to do data curation, And when we came up with our solution with machine learning, that 6 months got down to literally weeks and days, So that is where the speed in order to get to the insights faster is driving us to get to ML, which leads us to our AI story, right? And for the clients to quickly have the trusted data, so to speak.
So using ML so that you can do ML.
Yeah.
is
basically
what it comes down to.
Yeah.
I'm almost surprised that more people haven't really jumped on that. So that's one aspect, and we all know how tough it is to get the data taxonomized, organized, and so forth. What about things like privacy and GDPR?
So GDPR went in May 25th, was it? And it's not just any other regulations, right? There's a lot of coming into it in terms of your personal data, your sensitive data, and that's becoming huge. It's not just a European thing, right? I mean, a lot of businesses doing business in Europe have to go through that process. So what we have done in analytics, we understand a lot of industries, right? We understand financial industries, we understand retail industries, so we have models built in. And obviously we have GDPR taxonomy very well understood. And based on what I was talking about earlier with our machine learning algorithms and matching, it's very easy now to identify. And actually in one of our products has a cool dashboard where I can get the whole world map, and within your enterprise, because of machine learning, I can identify where in your enterprise your sensitive data, your personal data, your GDPR related data lies. So this way you can then make the right calls in this thing. And it's a huge thing. And today is GDPR, Roger. Tomorrow it's going to be some other regulations coming, right? And we have to enable enterprises that they don't spend months building their taxonomies to match for those regulations. So we are announcing a lot of offerings, machine learning infused, where I can read the doc. You have a regulations doc, I don't know, pages and pages of this thing, and it can ingest the documentation. We have we have models built against every industry or every regulation very quickly to infuse machine learning and quickly get to the answers and say, watch out for these things in your business. So a lot of work happening there. And GDPR, other than the privacy, is also about the security, right? It's like who can access this data? Do I have consent? Have I given consent? How do we manage all that in your master data management? And then understanding the lineage. Where did this data came from? Who touched along the way? A lot of these things are now built into the offerings, and we have to automate these things, right? Otherwise, it's just going to take months and years to get yourself GDPR ready or any other regulations.
Well, that sounds great. It sounds like you guys are addressing the kind of the infrastructure that's needed to help make the kind of promise of ML and AI work.
Yeah.
So thanks again.